Today I'm going to be showing you my multi-level slime block elevator in Bedrock Minecraft. I haven't been able to find one like it on YouTube, so as far as I know, it's the first of its kind. This is because of a piston mechanic on Bedrock that I'll go into later, but first I'm going to show you how it works. It's simple as pushing a button, go up. Now once you're at the next level, you'll have the option go up or down. Just for this trial I built it in 4 floors, but you can do as many or as few as you want. But if you're going to be doing 2 floors, there are much simpler designs out there. But just to show you, you have the choice. You can go up again if you want, and then once you reach the next level, you can go back down if you choose. So, back down. Before I go into the tutorial, I'm gonna explain some mechanics that will be necessary to understand if you want to build your own version of this or anything similar. So the first thing I want to go into is the standard 2-way flying machine on Java Edition. Now it's really simple, it's just 8 blocks, but of course it doesn't work on Bedrock. On Java it works by updating whichever observer you want to go in the direction of. So if you want to go up, you'd update this one, and if you want it to go down, you'd update this bottom one. And basically the sticky piston will get a 1-tick pulse, spit out its block, which will update the opposite observer, and then the other piston will pull it, and the cycle will repeat, and it'll just continue to go up or down. But this doesn't work on Bedrock because when you give a 1-tick pulse to a sticky piston, it doesn't spit out its block. So this observer gives a 1-tick pulse into the sticky piston, and it just pushes and pulls. If this was on Java, the first pulse that goes through it would make the piston act like a regular piston. It would spit out its block, and then the second pulse would pull the block back into itself. So to make up for this on Bedrock, we use this block, glazed terracotta, and you can use any color. They come in every shade of dye. So when you power it, it's only pushed. It can't be pulled. But if there's a slime block pushing it on the way down, it's pushed up by the sticky piston and then pushed down by the slime block. So that's how I designed this elevator. How it works is this top section pushes this bottom section. Sticky piston should be facing that way, but it'll push down the glazed terracotta and everything else along with it, and it won't be pulled back up because the glazed terracotta can't be pulled. So then this side can just keep continuing to pull in the slime blocks as it goes down. But this thing does not work going up. So to do that, you simply move the bottom section 1 space to the left, and the roles are reversed. So now the bottom sticky piston can push up this glazed terracotta block, and the top part can do the job that was done before by the bottom. So this is the exact flying machine that I use for my elevator, except with blocks on top to stand. So let's get into the tutorial. Alright, so as you can see, I put in the elevator, and this is for the bottom layer. So your only option is to go up, and when your elevator comes in from the upper level, it'll always be in down mode. So to switch that, I'm just gonna build down here with any block and connect up a redstone line onto this piston right here. So you just put in the redstone, and that'll move it into up mode. Then you'll also have to update this observer so that it starts to go up. And I'd suggest doing this on a bit of a delay, because you're not really going to have much time to get on the elevator if there are no extra repeater ticks in here. So I think 8 is probably a pretty good option, and then that'll update the repeater, the observer, excuse me. But there's one other issue. I discovered this glitch while making this machine. When this piston fires and moves the bottom half of the machine, this sticky piston right here will sometimes get updated by the observer early, fire, and then extend, and it'll become an immovable object, and it'll get left behind when the other part of the machine moves. So that'll probably be fixed at some point, but until then, all you need is another piston there and redstone on it. Okay, so let's get into the middle levels. So the first step in making your middle level, or any middle level if you have more than 3 stories, is to hook up your down button to send the machine right back down after it's just been sent up from the lower level. So to do that, you would need a piston facing into that glazed terracotta block, so it gets pushed, because it can't be pulled along by the slime blocks. But the problem with putting a piston here is that if the machine goes up, it would get pulled by this slime block. So what you do is build to the side and put in a sticky piston with your regular piston. So then the sticky piston will fire and bring over the regular piston so that it can push the bottom half of the machine over, which will also update the bottom observer and send the machine back down. So to hook up this little contraption, you have to build over with redstone and connect it on a 4 ticks actually, on the sticky piston, and then build over and activate the bottom piston as well on 1 tick. So just build over and 1 tick. Oh, it should be right here actually, so there's room for the piston to be moved in. So I'll just show you it works, and there you go. So the next step is to work on going up. So your 2 options for going up are if you're continuing to go up, so you just received the elevator from the bottom and you want to continue to go up, or you just received the elevator from the top and you want to go straight back up. So those 2 can both be covered by this. So you just build over here with redstone, and you have to use either glazed terracotta or obsidian, or of course maybe an enchanting table or some other obsidian block that can't be moved. So you just build over there, and then you can go back to using your regular block and do this. So what this is going to do is pretty much the same thing as this little contraption over here, except it's all in one direction. So sticky piston there, regular piston there. So if this had been moved over, as if it had been coming back down, this will push it back over, and then we'll update the observer so that it can go back up. So to update the observer, I'm just going to build over here, and the observer would be right here, connected to this slime block, but I removed both observers so that I don't accidentally update one and send away the flying machine and break some of my redstone. So to do that, you just want to build over here to the observer, and you're going to want to build up one block and then come back down, and that'll make sense later. It's just so it won't interfere with some other redstone. And once again, you can add in a bit more of a delay right here if you want. So let's say 4 ticks, and then the redstone there will update the observer. So now we've covered 3 out of 4 direction combinations. So we've covered from coming up, going either back down, or continuing to go up, and from coming up down, going right back up. So the only thing left is to figure out how to go down after coming from the top. So to do that, you're going to have to update the observer that I, of course, broke before, but which will be right here. So we're going to have to update this because the machine will, of course, be in down mode. So to do that, you're going to need a similar double piston extender to this to go under this block here. So you're going to get an output from this button, and that, of course, also goes into this sequence. But you can also reroute it to go this way as well. And then you're going to want to get a very similar thing to this over here. So on the side, you're going to want a sticky piston and then a regular piston. So this piston will extend, bring this piston to here, and then this piston will fire under the observer, which will be right here. So to do that, you're gonna put another sticky piston on top of this one and an observer facing downwards. So I figured this little bit out on my own. I haven't seen it before. All you have to do is get redstone to this place right here, and once it's powered, it'll extend everything and then one tick this piston. Perfect for updating the observer. So you just simply connect it up. Okay, so now the only thing to work on is the stopping mechanism. So the stopping mechanism is probably the most confusing thing about this elevator, because it uses a circuit which I believe is called the RSNOR Latch. So I'm going to build a very simple one here. So all it is, you have 2 inputs, which are represented by the buttons, and then 2 outputs. So this redstone torch will turn the other one off, and same for this one. So when you press this button, no matter how many times I press it, this output will be off and this output will be on. But when you bring in an input from the other side, it'll do the opposite. No matter how many times I press this button, it'll be the opposite. This output will be on and this output will be off. So what I'm going to do is, for the stopping mechanism, I'll use an RSNOR latch so that when you send the machine up, the down stopper will piston will extend, and when you send it down, the up stopping piston will extend. So come over here. This piston is the up stopper because it stops the machine whenever it goes up, and then there will be a piston right here, so you'll actually have to replace this redstone, and this will become the down stopper, I mean. So let's figure out how to hook up the redstone. Alright, so the first step in making the stopping mechanism is to move this piston with a very similar mechanism to as over there, so that it doesn't get pulled away by this slime block. So same issue, and it's going to be a pretty similar solution. So build over there, sticky piston, and a regular piston. So now we can get rid of this thing, we don't need it anymore. And then we're going to hook this up to one of the outputs of the RSNOR latch, and the other output will be hooked up to this piston. They're never on at the same time, but one is always on. So to make the RSNOR latch, you're going to build over here into the redstone torch. Now this redstone torch will power the block above it, and then you build over here, and just like that, and then redstone. And this will be where the other redstone torch is. So it'll get turned off, and then it'll power, there we go, this block to the side. Oh, no, actually one down. There. And now you just have to hook up this output to this piston. And also hook it up to the other redstone torch. So, just like that. And then hook it up to this piston. So to do that, I build over here like that. And then put a block right there, so that this redstone line doesn't interfere with this output of the RSNOR latch. And the other output is a bit more confusing, because it'll have to double piston extend this to stop this block. So to do that, you're going to have redstone on top of this block with another redstone torch. So this redstone torch will power the redstone that I'll put below it. So right there. And then you have to power them on 3 ticks on this one and 0 ticks on this one, or 4 and 1, which is what I did over there. So to make sure you don't interfere with these pistons, you're going to just need 2 repeaters, and then block there, and then build up once more with the block, and you can power it in order. So no ticks on in this area where this piston will be, and then 3 ticks to get back over to the other piston. And then the final thing to do is hook up this to the other end of the RSNOR latch. So to do that, you're going to need glass. I just prefer glass. It's not necessary, but you do need a transparent object, because you can put the redstone charge straight through. And then build up like that, and then out to the side. Just bring that over and into the other input. So repeater, so it doesn't interfere with that redstone, and then redstone. So as you can see, the redstone charge will go through the glass block and down, but it can also go on top of the glass block to power this area. And the final thing to note when setting this up is that you do have to set the RSNOR latch into down mode if to begin with, because that's assuming that your elevator starts on the first floor, so that when you bring the elevator back up, this piston will be extended and ready to stop the flying machine. So, just going to show you that there are no observers in, so this won't move, but as you can see, this, I hit the up button, so now this piston is extended because the machine thinks that the flying machine has gone up and it wants to be ready to stop it on the way down. So no matter how many times I hit this up, it'll stay extended. Then if I hit the down, switch and the other will get extended. Alright, so before you build in the top, just two minor adjustments. Here you need glazed terracotta. So I'll just keep using the cyan, and you can just put your redstone on top of that, because otherwise it'll get pulled away by that slime block. And the other minor adjustment is a movable object down here, so that'll stop the machine when it comes down. And then the final part of this machine is the simplest. All you have to do is hook this up into a piston that will push the bottom part of the machine, update the observer, and send it back down. So there, and then there's the immovable object, and you just hook it up. So you send it up, test it, and it gets stopped, and you hit the button, and that will complete the machine. Alright, so that finishes this tutorial, and sorry if it was a bit difficult following along the complexities of the middle section, but that's all for now. I'm out.